So I want to talk players of the game, Pete. And as I do, let's try to brand this segment. Let's do it professionally on this stream, and let's brand this segment. So the players of the game from Saturdays, I will call it thumping. I will call it a physical thumping of FSU. That was closer than it should have been on the scoreboard. But the players of the game from that thumping are brought to you by U Health Sports. If you consider yourself an athlete or just an active guy like Pete playing soccer every Saturday, you know how hard it is to sit on the injured list with pain or injury. Maybe even try to hack your own rehab, get back early. But if compromising your movement or performance is not an option, call the experts at the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute. Whether it's elite competition with University of Miami athletics or just everyday movement, the University of Miami Sports Medicine Institute is the trusted choice for those who demand excellence. Set an appointment today at uhealthsports.com. All right. So, my player of the game. We had a comment on YouTube where someone said, you guys need to show love to Wesley Besaint. He is balling. And you know what? The guy was right, because we talked about it, but I don't think we talked about it enough. So I am going to announce my player of the game for this FSU victory, Wesley Besaint, because this guy has gotten better every single year. He's worked extremely hard. Came in. It's funny, you go to ESPN, he's listed at 205. This guy's 230. He's really worked on his body, just on his overall game. He's fast, extremely physical. I mean, his ability to strike and knock guys back is vicious. The late hit that he got, he really crushed the guy. Blake kind of pushed it out, and he tripped and ended up being a penalty. But he is clean, physical hits. The stats, I don't think, show the full ability at 22 tackles on the season with 1.5 tackles for loss. He has been outstanding. Run, pass, he's been solid. Tackling, like we said, has been great. He recovered the onside kicks. I'm very bullish, not just on Wes, but on this entire linebacker and safety room. And before we move on to your player of the game, Pete, this linebacker and safety rooms, from where we were last year to where we are this year and where we've been in recent history to what we are right now, I think it's been a while. You probably have to go back to those Manny Diaz defenses when the linebackers and safeties were this dialed up. Fast, physical, assertive, NFL players all over the place, and just it looks the part with those two groups.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I think before the game, I think my predictions were Marquise Lightfoot, which he had a pretty quiet game for the most part, and Wesley Besaint. I said Wesley Besaint would be a big one here, so I'm glad he showed that. I think I got to go Malachi Toney. I'm not going to overthink it here. That's my player of the game.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good one. And Jacoby Thomas, you could put that conversation as well. He's been outstanding. Lord Bacon and West been putting big hits up all year nonstop. That's right.
Vladdy Garcia asking if he's an NFL linebacker. Yeah, he'll be drafted. He'll be drafted probably 5th, 6th type round, man, because he can run.
Yeah, no, he can run. He can hit. He's got the size now. And I'll tell you, Jacoby Thomas. I know we're jumping around, but just talk about these linebackers and safeties. Jacoby Thomas is faster than I thought. I thought he was going to add physicality to the secondary, set a tone. He's certainly done that. I think his attitude's infectious. He posted the Sean Taylor picture the other day after the game. He just has that kind of nasty edge. He talked about not being satisfied because of what you said, Pete, kind of letting their foot off the gas late. He said it was a quiet locker room because they let the foot off the gas, which is great to see from one of your leaders who just had a game of his life, really. But the thing I'm most surprised by with him is the overall athleticism and speed with Jacoby Thomas. I mean, he is not just a hitter. He can do a lot.
Yeah, he and talking to people around the program, they're like, he's a better player than he was at Tennessee. He's a great fit for the scheme. He's just shown them more. They obviously thought he was good enough to play here if they brought him in. But I said this when it happened. There was almost like we really like this guy, but why is Tennessee kind of letting him walk? Like Tennessee didn't really try to bring him back. So great evaluation. He's a great fit in what they want to do with Corey Heatherman here. I saw a comment here from Al Lewis said, did you guys see Jadaeus Richard with 1 tackle on the stat sheet? And I looked it up. He was in the box score there. I just checked on it. That was a mistake. He did not play in the game.
God, thank you for clearing that. Thank you for clearing that up, and hopefully he continues to heal up. Poyser,
he's healthy. He's healthy. He wasn't on the injury report.
Okay. Oh, there you go. The trigger saying Poyser played very disciplined football, improved a lot from game one. Absolutely. He was flying out there, run, pass. I think Poyser's a really good player, man. I mean, we had him last year. It's like we're watching two different teams, man. I mean, just the physicality from that secondary, from the linebackers, consistent, the assertiveness and the confidence of what they're playing. I mean, they were so confused last year. I think even more than like, hey, these guys are tough. The last guys are soft. I mean, I don't get into that kind of simple analysis. Like these guys are, some of the same guys are playing a lot better. It seems that just knowing what they should be doing, and then that's the competitiveness of the group. Everybody wants to be the physical guy on film. No one wants to be the one missing tackles. It's just making guys play even better on top of adding guys that you didn't have last year, like a Jacoby Thomas and a Mo Toure. That group, again, is just really, really strong. Just Jay says best in the country. We'll see. I mean, Ohio State's pretty good with those guys, but I think when you compare it to last year, it is just totally, totally different. And in a game like this, where, Pete, eye candy everywhere, just a lot of opportunities for these guys to make big mistakes. They really didn't make them. They open field tackles when FSU did break a play, which was rare. They got the guy down to the ground. There were no 70-yard touchdowns in this ball game or anything like that. So just an outstanding performance by that secondary and by that linebacker group.
Yeah, and Bryce Fitzgerald, we'll talk about him here in a second, just more in detail. What a weapon it is, because those sort of guys, you think of these offensive gadget players. He's almost like a gadget player on defense because he's so, with the range that he has, the ability to take away so much of the field and be a legit ball hawk back there. You put him in there for those passing situations and feel fantastic about it. But I want to shout out also like a Dylan Day. Obviously, he had that targeting call, but there's been little moments this year where you see the flashes from him and you see the physicality with him. I really like what they're developing there as well. And look, Bryce, it seems like they're grooming him to be the guy here at some point this year, but it's going to be hard to take Poyser and Thomas off the field, man.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Popo Aguirre too. We're talking about linebackers.
I've said Popo from camp, man. He wasn't someone that we talked about a ton, but I kept hearing like the coaches trust him, right? And he played Notre Dame game. He had a couple big tackles as well in the open field. He's very smart, like lines the defense up, knows where, he's not only where he's supposed to be, but helps the guys around him as well. So real depth at important positions here.
From an authentic Cuban linebacker to an authentic Cuban restaurant, Islas Canarias Express, the #1 Cuban restaurant on the planet. You get right there in the Dayland Mall Dining Pavilion. You got 7 different types of croquetas, tostones, loaded fries, soups, the cubaritos to grab and go. Of course, all the classic sandwiches, the medianoche Cuban sandwich, pan con minuto. You name it, they got it. With the minuta, the pan con lechon, they got the whole deal here. The drinks, the coffee, little like the whole arsenal here between the colada. If you really need some juice, if you need actual juice, they got the mango juice. If you need a shake, that batido de mamey is the sugar rush. They got the whole deal at Islas Canarias Express, the #1 Cuban restaurant on the planet. Pete, I know someone who is probably going to Islas Canarias a ton. Columbus, Belen, he was out there. That's Bryce Fitzgerald. You talked about him a little bit. Another one where I think you'd listen to the show or watch this show. We were talking about that nonstop during camp. This is somebody who didn't play in spring. We started hearing buzz in summer. We reported that. And then once we got to camp, I mean, every single day, Pete, when we talked about it, was the first thing I said, hey, if it wasn't Malachi Toney and the plays he was making or some of the older players, we were saying, man, Bryce Fitzgerald is getting picks every single day. And he literally was getting picks. When I say literally, I don't mean like how kids now say literally and they really mean figuratively. I mean, he was literally making picks every single practice. Said he finished with 13 or something on the for all of camp. Absurd. And we've seen that in the games. 3 picks. Seeing this guy move around. He tackled better on Saturday. I thought he showed some physicality. What kind of ceiling do we see with the Bryce Fitzgerald now that we've seen him play and do what he's done?
Oh, I mean, high first round type of talent there. It's going to continue to be in terms of his development, how much physicality does he continue to add? I think someone, Deepwater, said he looks a little light out there. I mean, look, he's a true freshman safety, who's more of obviously in the coverage vein. So you understood that that's going to be the thing with him that I guess like limits. When I say limit, we see him out there on the passing situations, but the stuff that's keeping him off the field, pretty much on every play would be that. But he's shown when he's needed to tackle, at least he's had a couple tackles this year, and he's been fine. This is the thing from Deepwater. He's listed at 185 from before the season. So I think probably in that 185, 190 range. But I think he'll continue to add it naturally. And he's one of those guys, quite frankly, that I don't want to see him get up to like 205 this offseason just to get up to 205, D.
No, and there you go. Kirk Menendez with the breakdown. The most interceptions by a Miami Hurricanes freshman is 4, achieved by Donald Ellis in 1985. He already has 3 in 5 games.
Someone was telling me, someone's like, hey, he finishes the season with 7 or 8 at this rate. He might be an All-American just because that's how this stuff goes.
Yeah,
certainly a freshman All-American, but
I don't think he's small. I mean, I've seen him up close.
Yeah, he's 180. I wouldn't say that either. Yeah.
Like I saw someone saying he's 170. He's 180 plus. I think he might look smaller just because of like how he moves, because he's just so fluid and easy with how he moves. But I think he will be, when it's all said and done, somewhere in that 190 range, like 190 plus.
Yeah, but But you see what I'm saying? Like, I like how he moves at this weight. I don't want him to just be like when you just put weight on just to say you gotten bigger. I think it compromises what makes him special. And I don't think that's what they're going to do with him. But
no, definitely not. But I do think like there's room on his frame to get bigger without bulking up too much. Like he's not a naturally small guy when you see him. And I think like Dan points out here, his open field tackling's progressed. He had a couple nice tackles, had a nice hit on a pass that was incomplete. The thing with him too is I've seen him line up on guys and cover like he is a corner basically. I mean, he's just as fast as our other corners. You put him at corner. To me, he's pretty much he's very similar like an Ethan O'Connor, and I say that as a compliment because Ethan O'Connor is doing a really, really nice job. Bryce is that kind of smooth ball hawking corner. He's in that style of cornerback when he's not playing safety. So this is a guy that
when he was coming in, we were trying to figure out would he be a corner or safety,
right? Because we were saying he's going to be physical enough, and so far so good on that front. Needs to keep on progressing, but. Yeah, man, ceiling-wise, I mean, Cam Kitchens was an All-America. Cam Kitchens was probably a better tackler at this stage, even with Bryce's improvements there. But I think athletically, Bryce has a major advantage, just speed, change of direction, smoothness. Ball hawking, probably both pretty similar. But when you combine the ball hawking that both of those guys have with the speed and just pure athletic ability that Bryce has, I think that takes him to another level from a coverage standpoint.
Lots of comments about the officiating, the lack of holding calls. I have a little bit of intel on that. So this ACC officiating crew was 3rd in the ACC in holding calls on the offense. So there was a bit of a surprise that there were none called in this game. I'll say that in Miami's favor. And then the holding on Lofton, that they didn't think that was necessarily a holding. But yeah, definitely there was a lot of surprise there about the lack of holding calls.
Yeah, no question about it. That was bad. I mean, you see on the film, they were getting held. Bain got held multiple times. Messidor, I mean, there was no question who the better unit was when you talk about the defensive ends against the tackles, and they certainly were holding on for dear life. One of those things. I think the officiating's been bad a couple weeks in a row. That Marty Brown call last game was egregious. Wasn't as egregious this game, but it wasn't good. Thankfully, it was a dominant win, so didn't end up mattering. But yeah, not very good. And as we know, a lot of the penalties were legit and were mental errors. So not going to just only blame the refs because we committed penalties that were penalties, right? So yes, there were some that were not called on FSU. But the ones called on us, I think for the most part, were pretty much right on, and we just got to do a better job of avoiding some of those.
DWB talking about Keontae Scott, saying he played outstanding. I think he also said back here a moment ago that he thinks he's a legit nickel corner at the next level. this was a guy, and we said it when this pickup happened, D, was a 3rd, 4th round type prospect a couple years ago at Auburn. We're not even seeing him as a punt returner, which is another part of his game that he has as part of his arsenal. But he's a legit NFL guy, without a doubt. I think the size, he's got legit coverage ability in the slot, and the ball skills are really, really good.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's playing great. He's playing hard, high energy. He fits right in with the personality of the defense. He's very decisive. He sees it. He hits it. He's been experienced. He's an experienced player on top of having good instincts and studying the game. I don't know more you want from a nickel. He's fast enough to cover guys down the field. He's very, very sudden and quick. He's not afraid to tackle. In fact, he likes to tackle. His blitzing's been good. He's been awesome, man. I mean, we talked about the safeties and the linebackers. Throw the nickel group in there, and that's basically been Keontae Scott. I don't know, like backing up says he's pretty complete. I agree. I don't know what he's missing. And then what he's definitely not missing is snaps. I mean, he plays constantly. His gas tank is crazy. Probably it's something we need to do during this ACC stretch is develop another nickel. Not because we want to take him off the field, just because, man, he plays a lot. He needs a lot of help. I'll tell you someone who can play on the nickel, and this is right here, Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald, you probably don't want him the nickel because he's so deadly with his range, but he's good enough cover guy to play on the nickel too. Maybe the physicality you'd want to improve, just the decisive tackling, but he's definitely good enough to cover guys. Zed Bacon and asking, what do you think about Fitzgerald being 200? It's not impossible. He is big when you see him in person, Pete. He's not a small framed guy. Like if I compare him to like Jaquan.
Yeah, but I don't think that adding 15 pounds just to say he's 200 is the best move right now.
No, you got to see how it develops. You just got to see how the body develops, right? Some of this stuff is you just kind of see it. Jack says, go support these kids at the Miami Hurricane team store. Lots of signed memorabilia available. Thank you for the seg. I didn't even need to do anything. There's a lot of signed memorabilia available at the Miami Hurricane team store, MiamiHTS.com. You don't have to be a local. You just got to go to MiamiHTS.com. But if you are local, right there across the street from the University of Miami, look at the deals on the hats. You can buy one hat, get 150% off. Again, you got the promo code INSIGHT20, which is going to get you 20% off your first item. And you got all the signed stuff. Look at the memorabilia here that is signed. All the helmets, all the mini helmets. These are current players, old players. JoJo, he's got his stuff right here. So you want to be ahead of the curve before that price goes up after a great performance this weekend. Get it, Mark Fletcher, Ruben Bain, you name it, at the Miami Hurricane team store. And I did see a comment.
Next weekend.
You listen, I saw a comment from
You said this weekend, next weekend.
Well, yeah, you're right. But the stock is going to go up now here in practice, I believe.
After a big week of practice.
That's what I'm waiting for. Someone was asking me, I think it was Ozell was saying, why are you guys hating on JoJo? We love JoJo. Everybody wants JoJo to ball. We can't say it's
we had another comment from Michael Montalvo that I got to in the comments, and he said, so JoJo's for sure transferring. We never said anything like that whatsoever.
Yeah, this is a week. It's now. I'm saying it's now or never, but it's now. Let's go.
I just think to that statement, dude, if he doesn't play the rest of the year, then we have to assume he probably is going to transfer. But that's not where the situation's at right now. That's any player. That's not him.
That's any
just
player.
Him.
Yeah. So big week for JoJo. And again, I'll remind people when he has, I say when, because I'm going to be positive here, when he has a great week of practice, when he has a great week of game prep, and then when he has a great game against Louisville, the whole narrative changes overnight. Internal, external, you name it. It's a whole different ballgame. It's just kind of how these things work. So he's got to worry, and not that he cares what we're saying on the CanesInSight, live here on YouTube, but, if he just stays with his process and has a great week, good things will happen. And I think he can do that. He's capable of it. We need him. So excited to see him. Lord Baconton asking, who would win in a race? And I'm going to appreciate all your support. Who would win in a race between Keontae Scott, Bryce Fitzgerald, and Damari Brown? Keontae Scott's pretty fast. He was a 10.9 guy in high school. I don't know what Damari Brown ran. He's not really as much of a track guy, but I would say Fitzgerald. He was a 10.7 guy in high school. I would say Fitzgerald in that race. What do you think, Pete?
Fitzgerald, yeah.